This video is sponsored by Amazon Education. The Pixel 6 Pro is, in my opinion, Google's most premium phone that it's ever released from a hardware perspective. It's a phone that has given the Pixel line what I hope will be a true visual identity going forward. I know the Pixel 6 Pro has been going through some issues and that Google has been trying to drop software updates to fix these things, but it's been a few months. So let's talk about the Pixel 6 Pro. First, touching on the hardware. As I mentioned a minute ago, this is Google's most premium smartphone, and it's very apparent when holding it in your hand. It's substantial. I like what Google's done with this new IP68 certified design and the addition of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and back with that shiny aluminum frame. The two-tone color scheme is interesting, and this Sorta Sunny one here that Google sent over for review is definitely my favorite, but you can also get it in Stormy black and cloudy white. Now, one note though, to me the phone is definitely large. If you're used to smaller and sleeker phones, adapting might be a challenge with the Pixel 6 Pro, especially if one-handed use is important to you. But that said, it's not as easy as just choosing the standard Pixel 6 instead, since there are enough differences between the two devices besides just the size. Now, while I'm not a case guy at all personally and prefer using my phones naked, I also acknowledge that over 90% of people slap a case on their smartphone, and I think that's a very good decision here on the Pixel 6 Pro. First, that curved edge display is something that I've never been a fan of, due mostly to phantom touches. The display will pick up your palm touching those edges as input, which can be frustrating to say the least. Secondly, if the protruding camera bar bothers you, a case will make that more flush. All right, next we've got to talk about this display. What you have here is a 6.71 inch LTPO AMOLED panel that provides plenty of space for whatever you want to do, whether it's watching a video or multitasking. It also sports things like 120 Hz dynamic refresh rate, HDR for those colors and deep blacks, with a 1440 by 3120 resolution, giving you 512 pixels per inch and a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. If I had a complaint about the display, it's that they don't seem to be as high quality as what you get on the latest iPhone or Samsung devices. There's color shifting when off angle and shadowing under the curved edges that's apparent when viewing lighter colors. Now, this doesn't mean these displays are bad, mind you, just that they aren't the best out there. As far as biometric authentication goes, the Pixel 6 Pro does fingerprints and fingerprints only. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I know a lot of people will compare this to something like a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus or Ultra, where you have multiple methods, fingerprint and face scan, for example. The disappointing part on the Pixel is that the in-display fingerprint sensor is slower. In fact, it's slower than the rear fingerprint sensor on previous Pixel devices. It's also optical instead of ultrasonic, so the screen needs to light up when you authenticate, which is not the best when in a dark room. If fingerprint unlock is going to be the one method of authentication offered, you need to make sure it's really good, but on the Pixel 6 Pro, it's just okay. Then there's Google's Tensor chip. Tensor is the chip that powers the Pixel 6 lineup rather than something like the Qualcomm Snapdragon series. It's Google's first custom processor, which is similar in vein to what Apple does with its A series chips. Google says the chip rivals the Snapdragon 888 in power, and that certainly seems to be the case. Tensor leans heavily on AI, which helps with tasks like translating languages, optimizing battery usage, gaming, speech recognition, and several camera features. Alongside the Tensor chip, the Pixel 6 Pro sports 12 gigabytes of RAM and up to 512 gigabytes of storage. And if you want to be impressed, open up dictation and just start talking. It's scary how good the Pixel 6 Pro is at capturing what you're saying perfectly. When it comes to battery, I had 0 complaints. You can easily get through a full day of usage without having to worry. Often I'd finish the day with about 30% battery life remaining, even while using the always-on display and taking the phone out for a day of photo shooting. If you're a light user, I wouldn't doubt that you could get 2 full days out of the Pixel 6 Pro. 23-watt wireless charging and 30-watt fast wired charging are supported here too, and fast wired charging will take you from 0 to 50% top up in 30 minutes, but there's no charging adapter included in the box, so shop accordingly. Now, before we talk about my biggest disappointment with the Pixel 6 Pro, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Amazon Education. Did you know that Amazon offers an expansive list of courses that will teach you all about Amazon Web Services? You can learn about data analytics, machine learning, cloud essentials, and more, and they've got courses tailored to you whether you're a beginner, intermediate level, or have advanced knowledge. Just head to amazon.com/AWS courses to browse the extensive library of options. Choose a course you like and purchase it for free. All the courses you choose will appear in the Your Courses area, and you're ready to learn. You'll have access to videos, text, quizzes, as well as various interactive knowledge checks and downloadable materials. Here you can see what my courses area looks like, along with what it looks like when I'm actually in a course, with all the modules and content along the left-hand side, letting me easily navigate through everything. These AWS courses are open and available to any individual, regardless of where you are in your education, technical experience, or career journey, and the content is self-paced and free to access. This is a great way to arrive with skills in your next tech endeavor, whether you're about to graduate or making a career move while taking courses in the comfort of your own home. Explore AWS courses and start learning new skills today at amazon.com/AWS courses. And once again, big thank you to Amazon Education for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Pixel. As I said, let's move on to my biggest disappointment. For me, the problem that I just can't look past is the buggy software experience. Now, I know even hearing me say that sentence about a Pixel device might feel strange because nailing the software is kind of what the Pixel has been known for. That and the amazing camera. Now, this device is running the latest version of Android 12, but it seems that with every update, the phone gets buggier instead of better. Now, granted, Google is fixing things with these updates, but it just feels like the Pixel 6 Pro is a product that's in beta rather than a finished one. Even with security patches, which you think would be pushed to Pixel devices right away, the Pixel 6 Pro is starting to get them later than Samsung smartphones. And to me, that's just strange. That said, this is still a flagship level device, if not right in the same territory. It'll be a fine phone for most people out there looking for a great piece of Android hardware. It's just that when you come across several bugs in the software, you're gonna be annoyed. And the Pixel 6 Pro still hasn't fixed all that, even a few months after launch. Now, something you can't take away from the Pixel series though is the camera. And this year, the sensors and lenses are all new for the first time since 2017. The main sensor is way larger than the one used in the Pixel 5 and earlier, and the Pixel 6 Pro is the first in the lineup to have a trio of wide, ultra wide, and telephoto cameras. Now, the main camera is a 50 megapixel sensor that is hard coded to generate 12.5 megapixel pictures with an optically stabilized f1.85 lens. That means you won't be able to capture the whole 50 megapixel resolution, and the photos will not be any sharper or more detailed than other 12 megapixel images. Still, the images are very good in both normal and low light and very competitive with the best from Apple with the classic Pixel look. That's high contrast, slight overexposure, extreme sharpness, and cooler white balance. I won't say there's a clear winner here. Some images from the Pixel 6 Pro look better. Some images from the iPhone 13 Pro look better. And which you prefer really comes down to your own personal preferences, which I've been saying about smartphone cameras for several years now. Google's artificial portrait mode is also largely unchanged. It aggressively blurs the background to the point where sometimes it almost looks like the subject is a cardboard cutout placed into the scene. Some people love this, but I'm more a fan of the Apple and Samsung approach to portrait mode than Google's. One area I'd like Google to improve is how long its amazing night mode takes to actually capture a shot. It's incredible how much detail the night mode is able to capture, and I'm talking about in super dark scenes, but it takes a few to several seconds to do so, and a lot of the time either the subject or the person taking the photo loses patience and things get blurry. The iPhone 13 Pro lineup's night mode takes about half as long to capture night scenes as the Pixel. Ultimately, while the hardware has been upgraded, the images themselves are hard to differentiate from a Pixel 5 or earlier. This just goes to show that the Pixel images rely heavily on AI processing, and that's totally fine. Google has mastered that art and it makes for great images. While the ultra-wide camera is kind of forgettable, the telephoto is really good and produces sharp, detailed images. I'm glad to see it was included here. Google has also made a big deal about tweaks it made to its image processing algorithm this year to better handle darker skin tones, which it's calling real tone. You may have seen this in the Super Bowl commercial that Google dropped this year. This is a problem that's been in the photo industry for many decades that's been ignored, and it's cool to see Google tackling it. The Pixel 6 Pro has a lot going for it, and it could have been one of the better smartphones for the year since it launched late in 2021, but the buggy software experience has certainly been a letdown. Now, if you're interested in the Pixel lineup due to the features I mentioned here, the standard Pixel 6 has a lot of the same features as the Pro, minus the telephoto camera, and it has a flat display with a lower resolution and lower refresh rate. I personally think it works better when using it, and you can get this one for hundreds less than the Pro, making it the overall better deal in my opinion. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I will catch you in the next video.